Hi, my name is Dr. Francine Baird, and I'm currently the Assistant Superintendent of Student Support Services, and that entails supervising the following departments: CWA and attendance, health services, mental health services, counseling, and I work in tandem with our Deputy Superintendent to support our special education department. Now that we're virtual, what it looks like is sharing a lot of space with a lot of different organizations, whether it be inside departments or whether it be outside organizations. There's a lot of meetings, a lot of communication is used. I'm also available to all stakeholders. So what that means is that if something happens in our community and our crisis team needs to be activated, then I am like a first responder. And I will respond regardless of what time it is. And again, it's not just for the sites, it's also for the community as well. So this is a really big piece of the social, emotional learning and wellness of our students, our staff, and our stakeholders, meaning our community. Where I really find my passion is making sure that we all have the supports that we need, all of us, students, staff, and like I said, stakeholders as well. So education was not my first career. I started as a counselor at Planned Parenthood. That was my first job out of high school. And then also from there, I became a banker. So I was in banking for about 7 years. I came across a customer that I used to help all the time. And the customer happened to be a Stockton Unified School District board member. She would come in and she would say, "Francine, you have your bachelor's degree, correct?" And I was like, "Yes, I have my bachelor's degree." And she would always tell me, "We need to have teachers that look like our students. So we need you to teach." And she let me know about the impact program. So within a course of maybe a month, I got all my transcripts. I took them to the impact program. They told me what I was eligible for. I called Stockton Unified and they told me you can interview at either Franklin High School or Edison High School. I chose Edison, and I was chosen to be an English teacher with no previous experience, mind you, but the will to want to be there and the will to want to teach and the will to know my calling. And I was able to get the job and put in my 2 weeks notice, because you never burn bridges. Always put in your 2 weeks notice and fulfill your commitments to all your employers. And then I got into education. I have a bachelor's in psychology with a minor in ethnic studies. I also have a master's degree in educational administration. I also received that from the University of the Pacific, as well as my teaching credential, which is a single subject English teaching credential. And I taught English for 9 years at Edison High School. When I received my administrative credential, again through University of the Pacific, I became a high school assistant principal, and I did that at both, I did my admin designee work at Edison High School. I was an assistant principal at Franklin High School and also an assistant principal at Stagg High School. Then along my educational path, I became a small school principal at Weber. And Weber was an awesome experience because it really led me into the CTE world. Also, after that, I became a elementary school principal, and that was at Hamilton Elementary. And then I became a high school comprehensive principal, where I led Western Ranch High School for 4 years and then came back to the district, where I began district administrative work. I opened and started centralized enrollment here at Stockton Unified, and then became a director where I oversaw all of the high schools in our district. From there, I became the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, and then was able to jump over to Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. My advice, I think, is rather simple. As a first-generation college graduate, I think that you get a lot of naysayers, a lot of people who say that you can't do this or you can't do that. And my advice is to do it. To put your mind to it. Do not give up. It's staying the course. If you take action and you do things that will keep you on your path, then stay the course and you will get there.